Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You can see we have the wonderful Daryl and Linda with us. But just to let you know, first of all, welcome to the show. We have some wonderful solo exclusive tours to South Africa, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and Vietnam with Riviera Travel for 2027. And we have some absolutely fantastic prices and deals, especially today as well. So, what I'm going to do is, first of all, before I introduce everybody, I'm just going to basically let you know that if it isn't Thursday at 12 o'clock, yeah, you are watching on playback, but you're most welcome. Now, if you are watching live, and hopefully everybody's going to get into the live as soon as possible, a couple of things. First of all, please say hello. That way we know you're there. And secondly, you've got some wonderful opportunities to ask some questions to Linda and to Daryl. So while everybody gets in, I'm going to bring Daryl in first of all from the Solar Holiday Forum. Daryl, hello.
Oh, midday, Peter. How are you? Are you well?
I'm really good, Daryl. Really good. Really looking forward to talking about these wonderful deals. And if you please introduce our wonderful special guest from Riviera, Linda.
Yeah, so Linda, as you all know, is becoming a regular on PFC TV. Purely and simply, Linda has been brilliant coming on from Riviera Travel. Heads up the product for the solo department within Riviera. So huge to have her on board and helping PFC TV along the way. So Linda, welcome to our show and thanks for coming on again.
No, thanks for having me back. Like you said, I look after solos now at Riviera, and obviously you have so many amazing solo travelers. So yeah, it's just a great opportunity to tell them all about our products. And with 2027, we've never actually had a product on this far in advance on sale ever before. But it's something that we're finding lots of our guests, they're booked up for 2025, they're booked for 2026, and they're looking further ahead. So, if people are looking that far in advance, we've got something for them.
Well, prime example is that you only have to look at Peter hosting trips going forward, and he's already booked up for 2027. So that tells you everything you need to know about people, and especially our solo community, booking so far in advance.
It really does. Now, so what we're going to do, folks, we're going to go through the deals and what we have. So first of all, Linda, we're going to talk about South Africa.
Yeah, so South Africa is actually our best-selling long-haul solo exclusive tour, and it's 16 days, including flights to and from the UK. We fly into Johannesburg and out to Cape Town. And the great thing actually is there's almost no jet lag because it's only 1 to 2 hours time difference. You can see these beautiful pictures here, and you can see the variety that South Africa has to offer. And that's why it's often called the world in one country, because it's got amazing cities, stunning landscapes like this, epic wildlife, really interesting history, and excellent food and drink as well. And I think one of the reasons it's so popular right now as well is it's really good value for money, especially at the moment. And my colleague Lloyd went recently, and he said his jaw was almost dropping to the floor at some of the bills for the restaurants because it's just so affordable. So South Africa, that gives us like a nice overview. And then I thought I'd talk you through some of our highlights as well.
You will do, absolutely. So here are the highlights, Linda. Go for it, please.
You can see there's so many. I'm going to focus on 4 of, I think, the top ones, just because we're covering so much ground today. So starting with Kruger National Park. So Kruger is the largest game reserve in South Africa. Unbelievably, it's similar size to Wales, so it's absolutely huge. And it's home to the big 5, which are lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and African buffalo, as well as over 500 species of birds. And we go out on amazing game drives and try and spot all of these wonderful animals. And we also are able to do we do one game drive, full day included, but we can do optional evening ones as well, which can be quite handy maybe to try and spot leopards because they're more active in the nighttime. So that's kind of the top highlight, I think. And then the next one I would say are the battlefields. So we spent 2 nights in the battlefields, and this is something that not a lot of other companies do. And our guests have these really amazing specialist guides sort of teach them about the Anglo-Zulu War and bring it to life. And for anyone who doesn't know the history, in 1879, at Isandlwana, there was a depleted British army, and they got outmaneuvered by a much, much larger Zulu army, and there was only a handful of them left. But then what happened the very next day, just 9 miles away, only 40 British soldiers held off over 4,000 Zulu soldiers for 10 hours. And that's what kind of inspired the film Zulu for anyone who's seen it. So it's really, really fascinating history. And then the third highlight I'd like to talk about are the winelands. So something completely different. South Africa is one of the oldest wine producing areas of the world outside of Europe. And obviously we go there for amazing wine. You can see here it says a cellar tour and tasting at a 300-year-old wine estate. It's also just an absolutely stunning area, just really beautiful. And we visit all the towns in the area as well of Stellenbosch and Franschhoek. And then the final highlight is where we actually end the tour, which is in Cape Town. And for me, it's one of the most beautiful cities in the whole world. And there's so many amazing things we do here. Like it says, we spent 3 nights there. We visit the Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens, which are one of the best botanical gardens in the world. We also go to the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Point, which has got more biodiversity in that area than the whole of the UK. And we can go up Table Mountain, on a cable car for amazing views. And there's just so much to do there. But we also have a free day because we know sometimes guests like to tailor their trips to their own preferences. But personally, I would recommend for that day to go to Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela spent 18 of his 27 years in prison, because it's really fascinating. And we actually offer a whole day walk to freedom tour, which does Robben Island, but also it does all the apartheid sites in Cape Town as well. So if anyone's interested in their history, that's a really good one.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You've painted a picture beautifully. So Daryl, can you please talk us through the special deal we have with Riviera on today's show?
Yeah, so just to recap a little off the back of Linda. So this is a South Africa for solos trip in 2027. It's 14 nights, escorted tour, and this is with other solos. So this is solo exclusive, so you'll be going alongside other solos throughout your trip. Okay, obviously includes return flights and transfers, programs of daily tours and visits, 18 meals, which is 13 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 3 dinners, and an expert tour manager throughout your trip. For the actual deal itself, now, Peter, Linda, we have agreed an exclusive with Riviera. So for the next week, up until the 15th of May, close of business, we have secured a £200 discount on this offer. That's £100 extra from Riviera and £100 discount from ourselves. So where the 20th of January was at 5149, it's now at 4949. The 24th of March was at 5299, it's now at 5099. 22nd of September 2027 was at 5699, now at 5499, and the 19th of November 2027 was at 5149, is now at 4949. But remember, these are only valid for the next 7 days at these prices.
Absolutely fantastic. That amazing deals. Now, we talked a bit before, Linda, about booking obviously 2027 and about the price situation as why you should do. And you actually explained to me a reason why it's a no-brainer to book now, Linda. If you please explain that, please.
Yeah, of course. It's because we have a price promise at Riviera, because we really believe in setting the best prices and not doing like lots of discounting later on. So for that fact, it's better to book now. And then in the very rare, chance that we do reduce the price, what we will do is we'll make sure that all the clients booking with us get a voucher for the difference in price plus 25% more to use on a future holiday. So they'll never ever be worse off for booking in advance.
So if it's right for you folks, grab it now. It's really worth grabbing now. That is absolutely the reason. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one. And also, CJ, if you can hang on the photos a little bit longer, that would be wonderful. So we're now talking about Sri Lanka, Linda.
So Sri Lanka, yes, it's really popular at the moment. It's actually our cheapest long-haul solo exclusive tour, so it's really good value. And Sri Lanka, you know, it's an island nation. It's quite similar to India, but it's a lot smaller. It's about the size of West Virginia in the United States, whereas obviously India is a subcontinent. So it's smaller and a bit calmer. So we often find people like to go to Sri Lanka first and maybe India later. And it's just a wonderful country. You'll see when we talk through some of the highlights, but it's got, and you can see in the pictures, beautiful scenery. It's got wonderful wildlife. It's got amazing temples, and we spend time at the end on the beach as well. So this can be quite, you know, you get a lot done, but then some relaxing at the end. And one of my colleagues went just a few weeks ago and absolutely loved it. And she's come back raving about this tour ever since.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. And what I'll do now, I'm going to stick the highlights on. So please talk about the highlights of this wonderful tour to Sri Lanka, please, Linda.
Yeah, so the most famous thing is Sigiriya, which is the first image you saw of the giant kind of cliffs coming up from the ground. And it's a 600-foot rock tower. And it used to be the capital in the 5th century. And if you make it to the top, you'll see ruins of the palace at the top of it as well. And we do know that some of our guests aren't able to make it to the top, but it's amazing just to witness it. And those who don't, they normally go and visit a local museum with the tour manager. So then, you know, they're not left alone. But it's just an absolutely incredible sight. It looks like it just appears out of nowhere. So it's really stunning. And it's probably the most photographed site, I would say, in Sri Lanka. And then we just talked about Kruger in South Africa. So the premium safari destination in Sri Lanka is called Yala. And it's about the same size as Los Angeles. And people will be looking out for crocodiles, sloth bears, monkeys, lots of birds, elephants. But really what everyone's looking for is a leopard, because it's actually got the highest density of leopards in the whole world. And my colleague, I said, who went recently, she was sharing her pictures, and she's got a picture of this leopard right next to her vehicle. So she was incredibly lucky. Normally I recommend binoculars in case you're not as lucky. But it is definitely possible. They are there, and sometimes they come very close. So Yala, yeah, it's a great way to see all the best wildlife in Sri Lanka. And then the next highlight is tea country. So Sri Lanka is actually the 3rd largest tea producer in the world after China and Kenya. And the Central Highlands provide a climate that's perfect for the production of high quality tea. So we will take a guided tour of a tea plantation, and it's just beautiful scenery as well. And you'll see all the local women, picking the tea leaves, and they can pick enough leaves for 15,000 cups of tea per day, which is insane, honestly. So, you know, I drink tea all the time. So I always think of them now when I have a cuppa. And then what we will then do is we end this tour right by the beach. So you can see here, it says relax with 2 days on one of Sri Lanka's idyllic tropical beaches. And what we do is spend 3 nights there. It's a 5-star hotel called Anantara Kalitara. It's got 360 degrees views of the ocean and the lagoon. And if you want to, you could literally just relax, you know, go in the pool, go in the ocean, have a spa treatment. But for those who are more active, there's also, you know, yoga classes or cookery classes. So kind of something for everyone, and just beautiful tropical paradise.
Yeah, I don't want to go right now. So Daryl, here we go again, my friend. The deal.
Oh yeah, sorry, Peter. I was doing a downward dog, practicing some yoga in behind the scenes. But no, just a kind of a brief on this one for all our guys watching, or all our guests watching. It's Sri Lanka for solos 2027. So yet again, solo exclusive tour. It's 12 nights. Okay, part of this tour, you'll get return flights and transfers, 10 included experiences, 18 meals, which are 11 breakfasts and 8 dinners. 19 meals, excuse me. You'll meet, you'll get a welcome dinner and drinks as well whilst you're there. Expert tour manager throughout. And this one is based on a small group size of a maximum of just 25 guests. Okay. So the deal, again, we've got 6 dates in total. Yet again, there's a £200 saving. So it's an exclusive to PFC. You have to book in the next 7 days. So the lead-in price is at 3,349. But as you can see, if you get this booked by the 15th of May, which is the next 7 days, then you can secure all of these Sri Lanka holidays with a £200 saving.
Wow, so much included. And please talk about the deposits and how they work, please, Daryl.
Yeah, so with all the holidays that Linda's talking about today, it's a £500 deposit. So to make the booking, to confirm the booking, we would take £500 off you today to confirm your place. And then the balance isn't due until 12 weeks before. So if you do confirm your place today, the great thing is you've got 12 weeks before you depart to pay the balance, so plenty of time. And all you've got to do is give us a call on 02920 619 961. That number again, 02920 619 961.
Absolutely fantastic. And all the folks watching, by the way, opportunity to ask questions or say hello. So once we've gone through all the four wonderful tours, we'll then go to any comments. So please say hello or please ask any questions to Linda or to Daryl. So the next tour, Linda, New Zealand.
Yeah, so New Zealand at 21 days. This is actually our longest solo exclusive tour that we offer, and actually the one that we find that gets booked furthest in advance as well. So New Zealand, it's obviously a bucket list destination for many. And the great thing about doing it as an escorted tour is that you can see all of the main highlights in just 3 weeks, which would be impossible if you were traveling independently. It does mean though, to be completely honest, that obviously it's a pretty full on trip and there's a fair amount of driving. But there are plenty of stops. We only drive for a maximum 1.5 to 2 hours at a time. And we stop for photos, stops, coffee, lunch, visits. And you won't get bored because there's beautiful scenery out the window and the commentary of the tour manager letting you know more about the country as well. And actually, in terms of beauty, you can see it here. But for me, New Zealand's tied with Canada. It's the most beautiful country I've ever been to. And what I find really interesting is the North Island is quite different to the South. So the North, you've got geothermal activity, you've got lots of beaches and more Maori culture. And the South is more well known for glaciers, fjords and mountains. So quite different, and a great place to escape the UK winter as well, because obviously their seasons are the reverse of ours.
Fantastic. And I cannot wait to hear about the highlights. Where do you start?
Yeah, there's because it's 3 weeks, there's so many highlights on this. The ones I'll focus on, actually day 14 of this tour is completely epic because it has 2 big highlights in one day. So in the morning, we travel on the Transalpine train, like it says there, one of the world's great train journeys. And they've got these wonderful panoramic carriages, so you can see all the beautiful scenery that you go through from Christchurch to Arthur's Pass. But there's also an open air viewing deck as well. You might need a jumper or coat, but it means you get unencumbered views. So that morning, beautiful train journey. That same afternoon, we do what it says here, an included helicopter ride around the iconic Franz Josef Glacier. So it's a 20-minute journey and you get to see bird's eye view of the glacier, which is the steepest and fastest moving glacier in New Zealand. And glaciers look so different close up. So it's really interesting. And weather permitting, we do an alpine landing. So our guests can get out and kind of explore the glacier up close and personal as well. So that is the whole trip's amazing, but to me, just that one day, that epic train and the helicopter and the glacier is really incredible.
That's just one day. Incredible.
Yeah. And I wanted to touch on some of our boat trips as well. So we do 3 amazing boat trips on this tour. So one of them we've got mentioned here, which is the one we do in the Bay of Islands, which is the north of the North Island. It's just absolutely beautiful. There's over 140 islands, and we go past all of them, looking at the beautiful beaches, and we can see some of the wild dolphins that are there too. But we also do another boat trip in Abel Tasman National Park, which has beautiful turquoise water, and we kind of skirt catamaran along the coastline, and we see a Cape Fur seal colony as well. And then the final boat trip, if you like boat trips, this tour is good. In Milford Sound, we kind of cruise between these massive towering cliffs, and there's always a few waterfalls there. But the best time to go is the day after it's been raining, if you can, because then there's hundreds of temporary waterfalls that appear, and it's just stunning. It's probably the best fjord in New Zealand, and you can see dolphins maybe seals again, but also penguins, because there's a little blue penguin and a crested Fiordland penguin that live there as well. So yeah, beautiful and animals on that day as well.
Fantastic. Now, Daryl, it sounds absolutely incredible. Please talk us through this incredible bucket list opportunity to New Zealand.
Yeah, so first of all, Pete, before I do, I just want to mention Linda said at the very beginning when she started talking about New Zealand and Canada being two of her favorite countries she's ever visited. I was very fortunate a long time ago to go to New Zealand. Funny enough, for 3 weeks, not on a Riviera tour. It was very different. It was on a backpacking tour I did when I was a bit younger. And I can honestly say I've been very fortunate to travel a lot of the world. New Zealand, on the eye, is the prettiest country I have ever seen. It really is beautiful.
Wow.
I've never been to Canada, but a lot of people said if you're like New Zealand, you'll love Canada. And the only way I can describe it, it's kind of a bigger Scotland in landmass. It is just absolutely beautiful on the eye. The people are so friendly. And this tour with Riviera is our biggest selling solo tour for New Zealand. So
Wow.
this is, if anybody is looking to do this one of their ultimate bucket list trips, this is the one to do for New Zealand, because you are getting 3 weeks. It is extensive, but you're covering a lot of ground and you're seeing all the iconic sites of New Zealand. So it's a 20-night escorted trip, yet again solo exclusive. You get the £200 saving. There's 3 dates out for 2027. That's the 11th of January 2027 at 8549. You've got the 7th of April 2027 at 8499. And then you've got the 13th of October 2027 at 8949. Now, remember, these prices are only valid for the next 7 days because of the £200 exclusive discount to PFC. On this trip, Peter, just to let you know, 20 meals, 17 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 1 dinner. Yet again, you have your welcome dinner and drinks with fellow travelers, expert tour manager, and small group size of a maximum of 25 on this tour.
And the same £500 deposit secures you the
And
deal. Yeah.
you've got it.
Amazing. Yeah, fantastic. And last but not least, Linda, we go to Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah, so this time we get to tick off 2 countries in one holiday. And these countries have just got so much to offer. They've got stunning landscapes, like you can see there. They've got really fascinating history and impressive monuments as well. And it's actually, Southeast Asia is very well known for being very affordable too. So that's why we're able to have such amazing hotels on this tour too. We stay in 5-star hotels the whole time in Vietnam and 4-star in Cambodia. So really good standard. And my colleague Hada went recently as well. He said a pint of beer or a glass of wine was about £1. So our guests really, really loved that. And I know the last time I went, I had so many massages because they're less than, half the price in the UK as well. So really good value when you're there. And another thing I loved actually about it was the food. The food in Vietnam is the best food I've had anywhere in the world. It's so full of fresh ingredients and herbs and like really tasty and light as well. So that's like an added highlight. And one thing I just wanted to point out on this tour, because we cover so much in just over 2 weeks, we do have to fly a little bit. So we have 3 short flights on this tour, but that's just the most efficient way to get between the different destinations.
Sounds incredible. And please talk us through the highlights of this amazing tour, Linda.
Yeah, so one of the first ones is Halong Bay. You've seen that in the photos. So it's a UNESCO listed area, and it's because it's outstanding natural beauty and unique geological features. And we explore it aboard a converted Chinese junk boat. And there's basically about 3,000 limestone islands and outcrops that rise almost vertically from the sea, and just makes it so beautiful. And we'll also visit some caves as well and have a lovely lunch on board the boat. And again, I'm talking a lot about boat trips today. We also do this Mekong River Delta boat trip as well, where we go through these really narrow canals on these small boats. And that's how the locals, travel around that area too. So it's a really great way to see an authentic way of life. And we visit one of the islands as well. And then I wanted to talk a bit about history in Vietnam and Cambodia. So we see a lot of Vietnam war sites, but the best one, I think, you've got it here as well. So it's a guided tour of the fascinating Cu Chi tunnels, the former Viet Cong underground stronghold, and a poignant reminder of the conflict. So if anyone doesn't know, there's like 200 kilometers of these tunnels underground, and they were built for the Viet Cong to, kind of hide from the Americans. But they also have kitchens, meeting rooms, sleeping quarters, lots of different areas. And the Americans were always trying to destroy the tunnels, but they always underestimated the size. And then also there were a lot of booby traps as well. So they're incredible. My colleague went recently. This was his highlight of the tour, because you can actually go into one of the tunnels. And for anyone who isn't mobile enough or gets claustrophobic like me, you don't have to. It's still really interesting hearing from the guide, but most people will go in and kind of go through the tunnels. But you have to remember that the Vietnamese people are quite a bit smaller than we are.
I was wondering about myself getting through them, Linda, as well. So yeah, sounds incredible.
So
really does.
it's easier for them.
Yeah.
And there's also interesting history in Cambodia as well, because we go to Phnom Penh, which is the capital, and not everyone goes there. So I think it's really interesting. And we visit the Tol Sleng Museum, which was a school and then became one of the most notorious prisons from the Khmer Rouge. And to be honest, the museum, it can be quite hard going, but it's one of the things I remember the most from my trip, because I didn't know much about the genocide that's happened in the 70s. So it's really educational and, good to learn more about that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, but probably the most famous thing by a mile, is Angkor Wat. So Angkor Wat, it's the 8th wonder of the world because it's so huge. It's actually the largest religious structure in the world. And at its height, it had about 1 million inhabitants living there. So you can see how big it actually is. And we visit Angkor Thom, which is where it's huge. It's basically, it translates as city of temples. So there's loads of temples. But Angkor Thom, you've got kind of the most well-known temples in that area. And it's surrounded by a 100-meter moat, which is ginormous. And we also go to Ta Prohm as well, which a lot of people know from the Lara Croft Tomb Raider movies, because a lot of that's filmed there. And it's like really atmospheric because it's kind of been abandoned, so it's got these giant trees kind of bursting through the ruins, and it's just, very iconic. So everyone loves Angkor Wat. And for people who really want to delve into it, we have a free day there. So they are welcome to go again, because it's so big, or they may prefer to do a cookery class or a boat trip. There's plenty of other things, but we like to have that free day for those people who really want to, see it in depth.
I mean, you painted a picture again, incredibly, Linda. Thank you so much. It just looks, every one of these tours looks amazing. So, Daryl, over to you for the final pricing of the final tour of the show today.
Yeah, so Peter, we've got it from on this one, the 12th of January 2027 was at 5099. We're doing it at 4899. Then the 5th of April 2027 was at 4899. We're doing it at 4699. The 9th of November 2027 was at 5099. We're doing them at 4899. Now, there's a couple of things to point out on this particular tour. If you're doing it to April to October on this tour, it's a 15-day trip, 14 nights. And if you're doing the tour from November to March, the itinerary is slightly longer. It's 16 days, 15 nights. So that's just something to point out to our guests, because we don't want them to feel hard done by if they book one of these dates and they go, hang on a sec, I thought it was 15 nights. Well, actually, there is a certain time where it's only 14 nights. But yet again, it's solo exclusive. Really important to point out on this one is 15 included experiences. So there's so much on offer on this particular trip. And then finally, what I just want to say myself regarding Vietnam and Cambodia. Now, I've never been to Vietnam and Cambodia, but I'm recently watching a documentary about the Vietnam War on Netflix. And it's one of those places where when I've been watching it, it just looks fascinating. And I want to hear it from their side, because obviously we were brought up in the Western world hearing it from the American side, obviously seeing movies, etc., etc. But one of the things that's fascinated me is hearing it from the Vietnamese people's side. And actually, people have that's the first thing that they take from visiting Vietnam, is actually hearing it from their side. So yeah, a fascinating, both fascinating countries. And like you say,
call, Daryl.
Yeah, we're there to get you booked on if you want to do any of these trips. So our telephone number is 02920 619 961. It's a 500 deposit on the New Zealand, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam Vietnam and Cambodia ones we've spoken to today, traveling in 2027. They're all with Riviera Travel, which are award-winning tour operator in partnership with ourselves at PFC. So yeah, just give us a call, and if anybody's got any questions, please do give us a shout.
Fantastic. Well done, Dale. CJ, we won't run the video, but if you could just throw up there's just a couple of comments or a couple of highs. I don't know what it is. Just throw them in. That'd be wonderful. Oh, Champagne and Cruising, one of my favourite names. Regular on the show. Fantastic. Yes, they absolutely. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I think they're all unbelievable itineraries. I want to do them all. I would love to do them all. Absolutely bucket list. Watching from Lakeside in Florida. Lakeland in Florida, I should say. Kevin, hello. How are you? Fantastic. Wow. Daryl, you're going to be there. Obviously, the team were going to be there taking calls. What a wonderful opportunity. Daryl's just pressed something and disappeared. It's good timing, I think. Oh, he's back again. So, I mean, I want to say to everybody watching, by the way, who's still watching, thank you so much. It was worth watching all the way to the end because they are in absolutely incredible tours. Wonderful deals for a week. Great opportunity. Linda has explained the reason why it's really worth getting it now, grabbing it now, because, of the price promises as well. So I want to say thank you to everybody watching. Daryl, thank you so much, obviously, to explain everything and go through all the details of everything. And you're there to answer, obviously, the phone calls as well as the team are. And last but not means least, I want to say a huge thank you to Linda, basically, who's come on the show today and explained and painted the picture beautifully. You really have. So, Linda, thank you. And of course, I always bring him in at the end of it. Backstage, we have CJ who's doing the little magic and stuff. He's made some wonderful videos, which I'm not showing, but there's a lot of work gone on to that. And he's there in case any of us disappear and to come in and just to help out and stuff like that. So, Daryl, anything else to add? Linda, anything else to add?
No, the only thing I'm going to say, Peter, is don't forget this £200 exclusive discount is only valid for the next 7 days. And we finish on the 15th of May. So if you are looking to book, secure that deal now with a £500 deposit.
Absolutely grab it. Thanks, Dale. Really appreciate it. Thanks, CJ, as always.
Great show, guys. Thank you very much. Really lovely show. Really interesting.
I know the deals look amazing, CJ. And a massive thank you to Linda. And the biggest thank you a lot is to everybody watching. We really appreciate every single one of you. I hope you can grab these deals. I really do. So we're going to say goodbye, folks.